I want you to write this model on a piece of paper. It's called the stimulus response model. You might have come across it somewhere in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Stimulus response. What it suggests is this, that in order for there to be a response, everything starts with a stimulus. It's 6 o'clock at night. The phone rings. Hi, I'm calling from ABC Voiceover Company. Did you ever get one of those? Once. No. Stimulus. What's your response?
Bang.
Click. Right?
Strong letter to follow.
Yeah. Now imagine they're training people to do this. Right? Can you imagine the insanity? They're training people to create a stimulus that will cause a response of click. Now, if that isn't insanity, I don't know what is. Think about this.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
They're creating what?
They're training people to create a stimulus. Hi, it's me at 6 o'clock at night in the middle of dinner. That will automatically cause you to respond by hanging up on them. And how many billions of dollars did they pay consultants to figure that one out? Right? Stimulus, response.
Please hold for Dish Network.
Yeah, please hold. Yeah. Or how about this one? You get a call from somebody. Hi, Mr. Axelrod, this is an automated system. We'd like you to hang on for a very important call. Right? Like, you got to be crazy. So.
Or hello, how are you?
Yeah. Stimulus, response. Now, pay attention very carefully. When you hang that phone up, are you really responding? Say that again. Yes. Stimulus, 6 o'clock phone call. Response, no. React. Now, think about this. You are calling somebody to talk about whatever you're talking about, a home-based business, let's say. Has almost everybody had that phone call, that stimulus come? Almost everybody, right? If you're buying leads of people who are saying home-based business, is it a pretty good chance that they've all had that same stimulus at some point? Here's what's happening in the world, and it's below the surface of consciousness for most of us. There are so many stimuli in the world that force us not to respond but to react. And here's why. If that stimulus takes you back to a past experience of any kind, when you hear somebody talk about you can make $30,000 in your first month, past experience says, You now bypass this conscious decision-making process, go right to the unconscious. If that past experience was a positive one, your reaction is what? Positive. If that stimulus takes you back to a negative past experience, that reaction is a negative one. There's no consciousness here, folks. No consciousness. Right past the conscious, right to the reaction, right to the subconscious. Okay? I bet I could press a button in each of you. I don't know what the individual button is, but if I spent 2 or 3 minutes with you, I'd probably find it, where I could create a stimulus that would cause your body to tense up almost as if I pulled a gun and put it to your head. True? Yeah. Right? Because if you know, and you probably can think about a stimulus right now that if it presented itself, it would cause you to tense up. Is that a response? No, that's primal. Right? That's fight or flight. Neither one of those is a good reaction. If you are the stimulus, and aren't you the stimulus? And you're causing a reaction of fight or flight. The game is over before it starts. See that? Yep. Now, what is the real implication of this and the potential payoff for you? In between stimulus and response, there's a gap. I call it the decision gap. In some people, the decision gap is seconds. Stimulus, decision, response. All right? In other people, it could be 30 years. Stimulus? Come back and see me next millennium. Okay? Now, 6 years ago, that was not such a big deal, but decision gap. What's your decision gap? If you want to change the response of other people, what must you do? Change the stimulus. Who's the stimulus? You are. You want a different response? Change the stimulus. Any stimulus that brings people back to the past is dangerous because you don't know their past experience. And if their past experience was negative, you just created a stimulus that will cause a reaction. Game over before it starts. Now, here's the flip side of that. How would you like to be able to never react again to situations that create that emotional reaction? Simple. Manage and control your decision gap. Somebody presents a stimulus that really, really takes you back to a bad past experience. If you react, where are you reacting from? The past. If you create a stimulus that takes a person back to a bad past business, direct sales, network marketing experience, where is that person at in terms of their response? Back here, right? Is it a response? No, it's a reaction. Game over. Is this happening, by the way? Yes. And most of the time it's happening without you knowing about it. Because you don't know what their past is. You can't know. All right? Now, so here's the two most important lessons. Number one, if you want a different response from people, change the stimulus. Your overriding objective from this point on will be to alter the way that you be with people, present yourself to people, speak to people, communicate with people, so that you can clear the past, that people will have the opportunity to respond in the present with what? A response, not a reaction. All right? If you want to stop reacting, which creates tension in your body, stress, which leads to illness, which is not healthy, then control this decision gap, even if you have to count, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Okay. Let me respond to that. Now, if you have teenagers, you really need to do this, okay? Trust me, and I know you know what I'm talking about. All right? I can't wait. Okay, now, what's the implication here? And what's the power of this? How do you control a bad past situation? You can't, right? It's already happened. So what happens when you engage in a conversation with somebody who's had a bad past experience and you don't know it? Is that conversation happening in the present? No. Your conversation is happening in the present, but where is their listening? Back there. I'm going to give you 2 things you can do right now to clear the past with people from this point on forever.